The Sid injury, I didn't see it live,
Really?
and the reason is I was sitting there with Scott Steiner, and I had turned my head. We were talking, and I had turned my head to answer, and everybody, Scott, and everybody, oh, I jumped and like the big flinch, and I right away turn around and I see Sid down. I'm thinking like, what, take a bad bump? And
Yes, he
Scott
did.
starts going, oh, his leg, his leg, right? And then they start showing the replay, and I've seen a few of those. Well, we were in the ring in ECW, me and Pitbull were working, and then we had the uh, BWO come out, and we had there was a new kid from the school that wrestled, like built sort of like Abdul the Butcher and wore the pointed boots. He was supposed to, in the school, he could do the elbow off the top rope. Was supposed to do that, but he had never done it in front of a live crowd. So he hesitated for a second. And then now his momentum's already going. So he tries at the last second, readjust and make it. Same thing. I'm turned. I've got Anthony in the Pitbull 2 in the full Nelson. And I hear it sounded like a professional baseball bat snapping. And there's a lag and then this ungodly curdle. Just this guttural scream, and later, of course, seen on video. So when I saw the Sid video later, of course, it immediately beckons you back to the Joe Theismann break, and Abdullah's break, and all these different things, and you see it, and it's for Sid, like as tall as he is, had that big upper body, and legs weren't quite as big, right? But he had long legs because of how tall he is. And to me, that was like, again, it's just a basic physics lesson, right? When you come off and you have 300 pounds coming off, and it takes 12 pounds to break a bone and land in just the right way, and boom, she's gone. He still has a bit of a noticeable difference in his gait today. Not very pronounced, but for a long time after that, he obviously did, and that's a very, just my medical school training. That's a really, really bad break, and for a guy as tall as him, and long tibia, that's a long bone, and very difficult to heal. So he's like, and those kind of breaks, it's not often, but it can happen where it needs to be amputated. Modern medicine, modern orthopedics have gotten better at fixing that with internal rods and things. But that was a really, really serious break. And one of those things that's just, when you look back at it, I don't mean to laughing about the injury, but just I remember the reaction from the dressing room as I turned my head like an idiot at the perfect time, right? Just like everybody watching the monitor did this, like, whoa, like this explosive, something bad happened. And Scott Steiner, who's usually pretty stoic, had that look on his face I can't even mimic, where it was just, like, he had seen something that was pretty ghastly, and he starts describing it before they start showing the replay. But yeah, horrible, horrific.
I'm going to bring up two things here. It was Kareem Horton, the guy from ECW, and the reason that I actually looked up our interview that we talked about that on the old channel, the current channel, but the main channel. The other thing is with the Sid leg breaks. So this is very salient, and also involves your pal John Laurinaitis, because apparently he was the one who insisted that Sid do this move, like some sort of like kick off the top or off the second, whatever it was. And then he landed on one leg, and then it snapped. And Sid kept saying, "Oh, really? Oh,
No.
So the story is that Sid got the director from Johnny Ace, and John, probably representing WCW as a whole, said, no, we really want you to do this. Sid said, look, I'll do it, but if it goes wrong on your head, be it. It goes wrong." And then Sid successfully sues WCW or Turner for compensation.
Yeah. Any idea how much he got?
Dutch has claimed $5 million. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that whatsoever, but I hear that he sued and successfully sued.
Yeah, they were rife. Paul played that sort of like a weapon against them. They would do something, say something, and Paul would threaten lawsuit, and they would respond. That was how we got Bobby Eaton. That was how we got Brian Pillman. How we got Arn Anderson. Steve Austin was supposed to come, but I think he hurt his knee, and so Arn came. Because Paul would just threaten a lawsuit and they would roll over on it. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Missy Hyatt sued or threatened to sue and received a pretty sizable, because they had put in the CNN Center a picture of her, like, that was taken from video. And it was like down in the main area, like where they had the food court and all of that. And the picture, just the way the picture was taken and stopped when it was, her dress or top or whatever had been pulled aside and her boob was showing. And again, like we said earlier on a different episode about the overt cocaine usage in the NWA program. Whoever said, hey, let's freeze it right here. Let's take this picture from the video and put it in a public place, without talking to her first, or just assuming that maybe not a good idea. But I really find it hard to believe that was something that somebody, some low level tech somewhere in the company said, hey, let's do this and put it out there. But I know she was talking about a lawsuit at that time, and then suddenly it disappears. I don't know if it went to lawsuit, if she was given settlement before or after, but that was another place that kind of stuff happened. And, just a little common sense would tell you probably not good to proceed that way. And with Sid, doing them, anytime you're asked to do a move that you've not worked on, I don't care if it's a simple suplex or throw of some kind. The answer, I always tell people that I'm working with, if you don't feel comfortable with something, please say it here. No harm, no foul. I'd much rather you tell me that and me come up with something else than you say, I don't want the franchise to think I'm afraid to take this or whatever. And then God forbid something like that happen. So it's, if he sued and won a chunk of money and he was told to do something he, shouldn't have done or wasn't well versed in doing, because we've all watched 10,000 wrestling matches, and you see, seemingly it happens, and it always happens without injury. Well, there's a couple different things go on. First of all, we're well versed and trained in what we do, and we still get hurt. But the promotion also has a vested interest in concealing your injury, because you're a figure that they've invested money in. And they want, if you're booked at a main event next month in Charleston, West Virginia, they don't want Charleston. Well, Shane's hurt. He's not going to be here. So that's the second thing. But the third thing is like on the realistic side of it, what we do, and I think most of us understand this, there is real danger in what we do. And, we're not swallowing swords or jumping out of a plane without a parachute, but, we are going out there and semantically attempting to do something to make you believe something that's not really happening. And if you're not well versed in that, think of Francine's bump through the table, the power bomb through the table. She's not got the heft or the meat to protect herself. And that's a hard bump for anybody. And, they did if you watch closely, Anthony's knees go through the table first. And like, there's, he's doing the best he can to protect her. I don't care. She's 102 pounds with 10-pound dumbbells in her hands. That's a hell of a bump. And there was not for comparison, but later in XPW, when I was working with Rob's wife, let me see,
Lizzie?
Lizzie Borden.
Yeah.
She was asked to take a bump, and it was to be power bombed from the ring down to the table at ringside. She was not a worker, so I told her, don't do it. It's too dangerous of a bump, and that's a hard bump, period. And during the match, it comes up, and there she goes. And when he throws her, she goes, like, the table's about a foot off the apron, and she went right down between, like, her body folded up and went literally right through the split and threw down to the concrete, and she ended up breaking some ribs. And so she had to take a train back to California because she couldn't fly for like a month. And, so point taken, we've seen injuries, God forbid, draws. And then there was the other kid that got hurt in the Rockers match way back, Sid's leg. The injuries happen all the time, and the company will oftentimes conceal it. Of course, you couldn't conceal that. But being asked to do a move that you're not trained to do and you've never done, the moral of the lesson is right there. And happy for him that he was able to get money from the company because they put him up to doing that.